which is probably why I'm 27 and have never like had a boyfriend, but I don't regret it. I mean, if I can learn the lessons without actually going through the hardships, I'm all for that.
You didn't have any titles at the time?
No, I'm actually not a huge title person, which makes me sound really emotionally unavailable. I know we can talk about that later. No titles. I know it's crazy.
Like half of your videos start with chronically single, you know? It's a numbers game, lady. You got to get out there.
I know I should. But like in my experience, I found that there are a lot of guys. Like it's easy to find a guy, right? I want to find the right person. I feel like my life is really great as a single person. So adding another person or another like anyone into it, it's like an inherent risk. I don't know a better way to say this, but they are the worst. And I think that they are the types of... I couldn't think of a nicer way to put that.
That's good. That's good. All right, guys, we're going to start it off. Anna Marcks, thank you so much for being on the Table for One podcast. Like and subscribe, people. That will definitely help us out. And, it just helps us out in every way. So,
yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Well, tell us your age first.
I'm 27.
Okay, 27. And then how long have you been in Denver?
I've been here for almost 10 years now.
Okay. Because you have like a, social media, you post a lot, and I was going through all of it today, and it seems like you kind of made this place your home.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I went to college here and then have lived here for about 6 years after, mostly downtown, and have kind of just integrated myself into the community through sports, friends, and I'm kind of just out there living.
Okay, nice. Yeah, you're always going. I feel like Volo, you're doing a bunch of stuff. You're always going out to a new place. Where's like the best date spot there? Because you go to eat everywhere, it seems like.
I know. I honestly don't go on that many dates. I maybe go on 2 or 3 a year. I feel like people think that I go on so many. I definitely front loaded my dating career in like 2020, 2021, and I've really tapered off since then. But I would say that Lady Jane is my favorite place to go for drinks because they have a big mocktail selection and I don't drink. So that's my go-to. Mood lighting is nice. It's not terribly expensive and it's like in an accessible area.
And what's your obsession with Diet Coke?
I just feel like it's so good. Mm-hmm. It tastes zesty. It hurts a little bit, which I kind of like.
It's like a burn,
especially from McDonald's. And I mean, since I don't drink, I don't want to always be drinking water. I want something kind of fun. And then like a Diet Coke with a lime is not fun, but it's not water. So
how often do you go to Mickey D's?
Like 4 times a week, maybe 5. God,
it's so good.
I'm the worst. Good. Yeah, I'm the worst.
What's the go-to order?
Double hamburger. The free fries with the app. Got to do the app deals. And then the large Diet Dr. Pepper, actually.
No cheese?
I can't have cheese. I'm lactose intolerant.
Okay.
I know, no alcohol, no cheese. Life is hard for me.
Okay,
that's rough.
I know, right?
Cheese is the best.
Yeah.
You said when you find your right person, your husband, he's going to have Diet Coke in his fridge.
Yes.
Right? With a lime. But it doesn't have to be a lime.
Optional lime. That's like a bonus, but yes.
And so what if it's like Diet Pepsi?
I mean, I think every major grocery store sells Diet Coke. I don't know why he would.
Well, what if he's a Pepsi guy?
Well, but I'm a Coke girl.
Okay, so it's
he's going to have to change.
Well, I mean, he can have the Pepsi for himself and then the Coke for me. Like, it's not a terribly expensive ask.
What if he doesn't drink soda?
Then I can drink soda. Like,
do
we don't have to share
change?
No, of course not. I know it's not the best for me. So as long as he's not asking me to take on other substances or vices, then I won't ask him to.
Okay, so you say 2 dates in a year, or like 2 or 3 maybe?
I think last year I counted. It was a big year for me. I went on 5 or 6 dates with 5 or 6 people. The year before was maybe 2. So I'd say maybe average 3.
Okay-ish. And why so little?
So I don't use dating apps, and I feel like that's a big contributor. Like, obviously, if I made myself a Hinge or Bumble profile, it'd be so easy to get like a date tonight, right? But I just don't like that. It's not really my speed. It's not my thing. And so I feel like I just don't meet that many people. I think people think that you would, but it kind of takes that, like one person has to be a little bit courageous, whether it's me or him. And I feel like that's just not always there for multiple reasons.
Are you more courageous when going up and asking?
I would say so.
Because that's what we get all the time here. Like, no men go up to women.
Yeah, which is kind of annoying. I'm like, I would never want someone to be disrespectful when they come up to me. I want them to be polite and take no for an answer. But as long as you just politely shoot your shot or ask me for my number, like, I'm never going to be rude. I might not give you my number, but like, I would at least appreciate the thought and probably tell you that.
Okay.
And I feel like I have no problem doing it because I'd rather do it and then get a little bit embarrassed when it doesn't go well than like regret not doing it. At least
you're brave. You get out there. What's the go-to line? Do you just say, hey, or?
I feel like, okay, this is that. I am a little bit of a coward. Usually what I'll do is like, since I meet people who are in my sphere, usually, whether it's volleyball or it's usually volleyball, to be honest, but like someone else will know them. So I'll get to talking to them and then I'll ask my friend like, hey, can I have their number? And then I just text them like, hi, it's Anna from volleyball. And then I don't even have to say anything else. And they normally take it from there.
Okay.
You're big on social media, which I'm sure he'll ask about, but do you get a lot of people like DMing you or reaching out that way?
I would say I do. I don't really check the DMs that often.
Really? You gotta check those DMs, lady.
I know, but like sometimes they're just weird. I hate to say it. They're just not people that I necessarily would be interested in. I feel like more often than not, I don't really like guys on social media or that use Instagram. So if a guy is going out of his way to DM me on Instagram, it's probably just not the type of person that I'd want to be with.
Do you like a guy with a big social media presence?
I would say ideally he would not have any social media presence. Okay. Like no Snapchat, no Facebook. Facebook's fine, sorry.
He's got a Nokia
legacy,
phone.
Yeah, just the phone number and that's it.
Yeah. No apps, nothing.
I know, it's crazy.
Like half of your videos start with chronically single, it's a numbers game, lady. You got to get out there.
I know I should. But like in my experience, I found that, there are a lot of guys. Like it's easy to find a guy, right? I want to find the right person. I feel like my life is really great as a single person. So adding another person or another like anyone into it, it's like an inherent risk to that piece that the little bubble of peace that I've created for myself.
Though? What if they enhance it?
And like, I'm definitely like very up for the idea of that. Okay. Like, I think ideally the person that I meet will enhance it. Not ideally, they will, just period. But it's like so many people won't. I have to go through so many no's to get a yes or so many failures to get a yes. It's just right now, it's not really worth it for me to invest that kind of time.
Yeah. Okay. I can understand that. So like overall of your dates that you've gone on, what do you think?
I've not been super impressed.
Okay.
I think all the guys that I've been out with have been very personable. They're very nice. Yeah. They're friendly. They're kind of funny. They can be funny in certain moments. It's not like they're horrible people, but I found overall it's usually an emotional availability issue or like an emotional maturity issue. And so as nice as someone is, I just don't want to put up with that other kind of behavior.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of, and maybe it's just, do you think it's that age, or there seems to be a lot of guys that maybe just aren't ready for that or might be wanting just to be in the party stage of their life?
It's interesting. I think a lot of the guys that I went out with last year specifically had just gotten out of relationships. So it's kind of that weird thing where it's like, obviously you were ready. Well, you thought you were for a while. And so maybe I just caught them at a bad time. I'm aware that timing is a huge thing, but I think there were other issues other than that. But I mean, I've gone out with guys from 24 to like 37 and I've not really seen a difference in maturity. So I'm not totally sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You don't grow up, but you almost need a woman to help you kind of grow up a little bit because you'll just be stuck in that's probably a bad thing to say for all guys, but not all guys. My bad.
No, I agree. But I think and I don't mind helping someone grow up a little bit, but I think that there has to be a willingness to or an acknowledgement that maybe they are a little bit more mature and a desire to learn. It's kind of hard when you're fighting someone who doesn't know that they're not as far along in that journey. And so it's like, if you're not willing to be helped, then I'm not going to help you, I guess.
And then something else that was very interesting when I was going through, you said you haven't had like a long-term relationship and so that's very interesting to your story. I mean, could you kind of divulge a little bit into that as to why, or maybe you're holding out for that right person, or what does that look like?
Yeah. So I feel like in college, I went out with like one guy for a couple months. And like, I want to make it clear, it's not that I've never gone out with anyone. Like, I do go on dates. I think the longest that I've ever gone out with someone was maybe like 4 or 5 months. Okay. I don't consider that long term or serious. Okay. I think it's just.
You didn't have any titles at the time?
No, I'm actually not a huge title person. Okay. Which makes me sound really emotionally unavailable. I know we can talk about that later. No titles. I would say that in all the situations that I find myself in, it is exclusive, mostly because I don't love the idea of them actively going out to seek other people to go on dates with. I understand if you just meet someone, I can't really do anything about that. But like, if I'm going out with you, I don't want you to be swiping after our date. I think it's weird and kind of rude almost.
What if the people say, like, okay, I just met this person, but I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. I'm just going to keep my options open. That's not you.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, like, I also feel like I'm pretty discerning. Like, I can usually tell very early on, like, how someone's going to be, and not just like, again, if they're nice or funny, but like really like deeper things about whether they're ready or like their conflict style. It usually comes out very quickly. I'm not totally sure how, but I think I just bring it out of them.
Yeah. You're starting fights with them right away?
No, I think it's more like I just like, I'm a big proponent of expressing your needs very early on, and not like in a rude way, but something as simple as, oh, you know, like I like it when we have a plan to hang out. Like, since we're not, you know, official, I don't want to leave a date and go 3 days without wondering like when we're going to see each other next. And that's like something very small, but kind of nice. Yeah. And if they don't do it, then that's a huge indication to me that this is just not someone who either likes me or understands the concept of like being considerate.
Yeah. So you don't even play the game of the chase. Like, it's not, I mean, that's
no, and I know I probably should, but I'm not into the chase. Yeah. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to.
The chase might be an immature thing.
I think it is. And granted, I do have like a little bit of, I like wondering if they like me a little bit, but just inherently when you first start going out with someone, you're not sure, but not because of anything that they're actually doing. I just like that tiny bit of anxiety that's like, maybe they don't like me, even though they said they liked me.
Yeah, I love the chase, and that is a toxic trait of mine, but I will it's not healthy.
No, it's fun. It's fun. It can be fun for sure.
Yeah, okay. So but pretty picky, would you say, to like
I would say so.
If you find somebody that you connect with, are you going to go on a date with them, or will you rethink it kind of and be like, maybe not?
Yeah, of course. I feel like I'm always, my friends have joked that I'm like an equal opportunity dater, because I'll pretty much go on a date with anyone that I find marginally attractive. Okay. Unless there's something about their life that just doesn't click at all with mine. Okay. Like, very obviously, like, this would never work. But as long as I think that there's a little bit of chemistry and I find them attractive, like, of course, I'd give them a chance.
What are some non-negotiables for you?
I would say this one's tough, but I would say 75% sure that I don't want kids. Okay. Open to having my mind changed. Okay. But if someone knows that they want kids, I don't know if that's the right fit for me. Like, I'd rather have someone who's also kind of on the fence and we can kind of decide and like grow as a couple, as opposed to I want kids and you don't. Like, okay. I don't see that ever happening.
Well, let's get into that. Where does that stem from?
I think it's because, let's see, my mom, no one in my extended family has ever pushed on kids. Like, my cousin is adopted, I'm adopted. My other cousin, we only have 3. She's a biologically like related to the rest of our family, but it's never like, we're not a huge family vibe. It's never been pushed on us to have grandkids or to, you know, make grandkids, or the narrative of like women just like only being fulfilled by being a mom. Yeah. And so I feel like it's probably just a cultural thing, to be honest.
You have a lot more money.
Yeah. And it's like, I think as I've grown up, I've just seen, especially on social media, I'd say like mothers are becoming a lot more transparent about the fact that motherhood is not as glamorous as it may have seemed in the past.
Sometimes it could be a nightmare. I feel like. Yeah.
And like, of course, I appreciate that these women are never like bashing their children, but I think that there's a lot more out there about postpartum depression and like what it really means to raise a child financially and emotionally. So that's definitely like pushed me to the no camp, I'd say.
Okay. Other than kids, is there any other non-negotiables?
I mean, we do live in Colorado, and obviously, like, weed is legal here. I don't smoke.
Yeah.
And while I understand a lot of people do, I don't think I'd have a problem if someone, you know, I guess, smoked or did some edibles once in a while at a party or something, but I don't think I could date someone who's a stoner smoking every day.
Isaac's always blazing it up in there, creeping through like a smoke machine.
That is not true.
Isaac doesn't smoke. I don't like it. Makes me paranoid. I don't know. Have you ever tried it?
I've never tried it.
Okay.
And I feel like at 27, I'm like,
why?
It's probably a little late. If I was going to do it, I would have done it in college.
What if I see you next time and you got like beads in your hair and it's like Ross?
I mean, that's totally like, I can't say what I'm going to do tomorrow. So it's always an adventure when you're single. So who knows?
Okay. So the weed and the kids, those are, I mean, pretty good. Any other ones that might stick out?
I mean,
and those are good ones. You can say no.
Yeah. I'm trying to think like definite no's. I mean, there's some like things that you can tell like personality wise, like if someone's just aggressive, not in a physical way, but like if someone just has a very adversarial personality, like that's a no for me.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know how many people want to deal with someone who's a fighter.
Yeah.
But that's not me. Controversial, maybe not controversial. I don't think I could ever date someone who had cheated before.
Okay.
Or at least in very recent years. If it's college, I'll let it slide.
What if they lie about it?
If they lie about cheating, then how would I ever know?
They're a liar and a cheater.
Then how would I ever know?
Okay, yeah, true. And so, okay, you said your longest relationship, like 5-6 months there. I mean, were you close to maybe finding to that next step or?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would say that like, that's just because it's comfortable. Like it's nice to have someone. I think everyone enjoys having like kind of a default person to do things with and go on dates with. But I would say I was actually reflecting on this as I was driving over. I've never really met someone who I actually could see a future with or wanted that title with. So maybe that's why I'm title averse.
Okay.
It's just, I've always found people that I have some fun with, like, and not like in a weird way, but like, you know, they're fun to be around. Like I enjoy their presence, but not all the time.
Okay.
And not like I like being alone, but they do things that make me not want to be around them a certain amount of time.
Well, this year's the year. You said
yeah, no, it is. 2025 is my year.
You're manifesting that. It's, the subconscious mind will take over. Okay.
Maybe. We'll see. If it doesn't, then I'm sure I'll have a good year.
Then 2026 is the year.
Exactly. I mean, I'm getting married in 2027.
Oh,
so
either way.
We have some time.
Could be, okay.
I don't really want to date someone for a long time anyway. So.
Why do you put a time frame on it?
I don't really think it's a time frame, more as like, it's not a time frame in the sense that I'm like married by 30, because I don't think that that's healthy for women or men to like have those arbitrary dates set. But I would say it's just fun. I don't really have a good reason. I just think it's kind of funny and fun. And I feel like it makes me feel a little bit better. I once saw TikTok that was like, if you knew that everything was going to work out or you were going to meet your person in 2 years, how would you live your life today? And I was like, that's really cool. Like I wouldn't be going to the bar to find people. I wouldn't be on dating apps. I would just be going to volleyball and pickleball and doing all the things that I love. And if I knew that I was going to meet them, then why would I try to meet them or someone else?
What if like when you met somebody, it was a little rocky in the beginning, but you got over that hump and then it turned out to be super great? Like, is that something, or do you just see somebody and then it's in your mind, it's like, oh, it can't be great. It started off rocky. I mean, do you ever think about that? And I'm not pressing you.
No,
just
for
a question.
Sure. I hate to be this person, but I'm going to ask a follow-up question because this is a scenario.
Oh, this is your interview.
Like,
I don't like questions.
Yeah. So like in this scenario, in this rocky time, why is it rocky?
Oh, Isaac, your turn.
Uno reverse.
Probably because maybe there's some things that are going to come up in the future, right? That it probably will come back up, and you could suppress it for a little bit. But the things that are going to come out in the beginning, your turn.
I mean, yeah, I think all relationships are going to be rocky at some point. So, you know, there's no perfection. We're humans, and
this is good. You go now.
You know, interestingly enough, I guess the scenario that I was thinking when you said that, like maybe at the beginning, before there was any kind of exclusivity established, I found out that they were seeing someone else or something. That's probably a good example of something that's not ideal, but not horrible. I mean, I could probably get through that, but I don't consider that rocky. That would just be me deciding that I can get through it. I'm pretty resilient on that kind of stuff. And I feel like I'm pretty good about knowing what will be an issue later. And if it's not going to be an issue later, then it's not going to be an issue now for me.
Okay.
Which is kind of boring. And I think that's another one of my problems. Like I think a lot of men that I've gone out with are used to a lot of drama and fighting and emotion, which I actually think can be fun.
It's fun.
It's fun.
In the
It can
meantime,
be. It's a little bit toxic
until you want to like have like a healthy relationship.
Yeah, I can be like, ooh, this is exciting. It keeps me on my toes. A little bit of drama. Men say that they love that, even though they don't, but they do. And I just don't like that. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and fight with someone. If I don't want to be around you, I won't, and I'll leave. And that's really boring, but it's just how it is.
That was a good answer.
It's a good answer.
Oh, also, this is a side note, but my mom always told me that relationships should be easy.
Okay.
She and my dad like never fought. I did not grow up in a household where fighting was normalized. They always told me, no, like, why would we fight? Like, we can work through issues as a team. And so I feel like having that model has really like guided me through my dating journey. And unfortunately, sadly, I feel like a lot of people didn't have that. So
no, I did not.
And it's like,
I thought like there were so many things I had to like shed because I thought they were like normal. And then, you know, you grow and you learn through other relationships too. And then you're like, oh, you finally get into one that's healthy. And you're like, you don't have to do this. You know? That's not a normal thing you were doing before. So,
and I would say that, you know, a lot of people have that similar experience. They didn't have that model of a healthy relationship growing up. So maybe in their younger years, they were fighting or they didn't know. I feel like because of the way that I was brought up, I kind of was able to skip that, which is probably why I'm 27 and have never like had a boyfriend, but I don't regret it. I mean, if I can learn the lessons without actually going through the hardships, I'm all for that. Like, that's not a problem for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Hey, do you want to do a segment brought to you by our sponsor?
Of course.
Okay, we're just going to roll the sponsor real quick. Okay, we rolled it. This is called Truth Bomb or Move Along. So I'm just going to ask something and you can tell us the truth on it, or you can take a sip of your Diet Coke.
Okay, I'll get it ready. I feel like I'm a pretty honest person, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's try to test me.
Okay, what's the pettiest reason for rejecting somebody? What's your pettiest reason?
Oh, because they're too short.
Okay. No short kings here, huh?
I hate to say it, 5'11" to me is a short king.
Whoa,
so like anyone
like
6 and above, 6 to 6'4".
Okay.
Anything taller than that's too much.
Wait, anything taller than 6 foot?
I think that some men have it in their mind that like 6'7", like one of my friends is 6'7". 6'7" is better than 6'2". Unless you're a woman who's above 5'9", I would say there's no difference.
Yeah.
Like at some point you're just a tall guy.
Your neck's going to hurt after a while.
Yeah, and you have to buy Economy Plus, and so, you know, and your kids have to buy Economy Plus. So yeah, too much.
Okay, there you go. What's the most embarrassing thing you've said on a date? Is there anything that comes to mind that's...
I feel like I say embarrassing things all the time, so that's just kind of my personality. So I'm trying to think.
And we could always come back to that.
We might have to come back to that one. I'm not embarrassed to answer, but I will have to think of it.
Okay. You got a good one? The embarrassing thing you've ever said on a date? Or situation?
Embarrassing situation?
You guys both,
no.
You guys both. This guy, do no wrong over here.
I mean, I don't go on a lot of dates, so... I'm also not embarrassing at all.
Great
It's
answer.
Not true.
Great answer. Okay. Have you ever lied on a dating app profile?
No.
Okay, that's a good, easy.
No. Do women lie?
I guess I
feel like it's more of a man thing, like about
just
the
their pictures.
Yeah, women will lie with filters.
Okay, you're right.
Men will lie with heights. With their height and.
No, I've never lied about a photo. I feel like I'm very transparent. Okay. Yeah, never lied.
You ever been on a date where the guy looks nothing like his pictures?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
There
we go. Have you ever been guilty of ghosting?
No. I
Really?
don't think so.
Wow.
I'm like a very anti-ghost person. Okay. So if I did it,
you don't believe in Halloween?
Say it's complete. Oh, you're right. I do. I am a believer in ghosts, but I don't ghost. I mean, I'm sure like back in the day, there were times when I was on a dating app and I'd be having a conversation and I might just not respond, but it wasn't like we had a plan in place or even tentative plans. Do you consider that ghosting? I don't, but like if you do, then sure. Like
it's like even before the date. You can't ghost before the date, right?
I feel like if you have a plan, if it's like, okay, we're going to Machete at 7 and someone's trying to say like, oh, are we still on for today? If you don't respond, then that to me is ghosting.
Okay. Yeah, that would be, I'd see that. But, okay, and I did watch a video. What's the proper time somebody should respond to like, hey, are we still doing
Oh my gosh,
this?
Did you see that? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So
we're through 1 billion today.
yeah. So let's see. I would say, and one thing about me is that I consult all my friends. My friend was like, Anna, your life is basically a focus group of your own activities, like with all of your friends. So like before I even posted that video, before I even like got mad at him basically, or, started to create this narrative of how much I disliked this person. I asked all my friends, including guy friends, and they were like, no, the guy should reach out at the beginning of the day before noon to confirm the date, always.
What if he gets up at noon?
It was a Monday.
Okay. What if he's unemployed? You're not going on a date with him.
Well,
would you go on a date with an unemployed guy?
I have. Okay. And I would say that it depends on like why they're unemployed and what plans they have to have income streams of some sort. So if it's just someone who's living in their mom's basement and has no plans to get a job, I'd say no.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Full of good answers over here. I feel like
great answers.
Have you ever, so would you take back your most recent ex if he begged?
Like my most recent ex, like the last guy that I went on a date with?
Say somebody that you had a connection with that you could see something from it.
No. I would not.
Why?
I just feel like, again, he was actually one of my favorite people that I've been out with. We just had he was very easy to talk to. He's very nice. Like nothing wrong with him, but I do think that there are certain things about him that long-term wouldn't work out.
Give us an example.
He is a bit more type B. I'm a very type B laid back person, but I think he's type B in a way where he just doesn't care. And that's like one of the things that we kind of talked about. And I think that has its place. And it's really nice to meet people who kind of reject, society a little bit. But I'd say that this is a little bit too much. And I think that there'd be points later on where I would want him to care and he just wouldn't. Okay. And so not much you can do about that.
There you go. Have you ever taken down a social media post because of the hate it got?
Probably. I'm sure. I can't remember any specifically. I mean, I've definitely taken ones down that I just either didn't like or they weren't doing well. But I don't know if I've ever taken one down because it got a lot of hate. But I'm probably forgetting one in the 3 years. So I'll say yes.
Okay. Somebody asked you this and then you did a video of it. And this is not a question on there, but it just reminded me of it. Do people see that and then it's hard? I mean, you think it's hurting you in the dating world? Or because I don't think it would necessarily, but.
Actually once I had this guy, it kind of, I'm not going to go into the story because there's only one person that this could be, but my social media presence kind of did cause a rift and we stopped seeing each other shortly thereafter. So that was kind of a one-time incident. I'd say overall, no, people are usually down with it. And I feel like people these days understand the hustle and they think it's cool. Yeah. And as long as I don't talk about them specifically, which I always tell them, I'm like, I'm never going to put your face in a video. I'm never going to say your name. So if I talk shit about you, which I very rarely do about specific people, except for that pickleball person.
Okay.
Yeah. But the only people that know that I'm talking shit are you and me. It's not like I'm putting their face out there. So yeah, I'd say mostly no.
Okay. You have to get recognized sometimes. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
It's kind of fun, but it's kind of awkward because I don't know what to say. I'm just like, oh yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever slid into someone's DMs and regretted it?
I've never regretted it. I've definitely tried to slide into the DMs.
Okay.
But no, again, like never regretted it because like for all I know, it could have gone the exact opposite way. That could have been my person and he just like doesn't know it. Like I was actually talking to my friend the other day. This is so narcissistic. I was like, the reason that I'm like so comfortable sliding into people's DMs and stuff or like shooting my shot is that I genuinely believe that everyone would benefit from having me in their life. Like as a friend, as more than a friend, whatever, because I really believe in like what I bring to the table. Yeah. And so the only reason that they're not in love with me is because they haven't met me yet.
Okay.
Which obviously is not, it's obviously not true.
You almost have to think like that though.
But like, how can you? And like, if you think that you're like a loser and
you can't have don't provide anyone, then like stewing in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, like I don't actually think that, but it's more like, no, I do think that they'd benefit. They don't have to fall in love with me, but like, yeah.
Has it worked ever?
Has it? Let me think.
A date or two or
honestly, no. And it's my fault because I usually pick people
that like DMing Ryan Reynolds and stuff.
No, it's actually so like creepy. Sometimes I'll like, this is like, I shouldn't admit this, but I'll see people at like a volleyball event or something. I'll look at the little roster and I'll see their name and it'll be like, I don't know, Jared B. And so then I go on LinkedIn. I should not admit this. Then I find their name using LinkedIn. Sometimes I have to go through a lot of Jareds. And then I find their Instagram using their LinkedIn, and then I slide in that way.
Okay. That's intuitive.
So then it never works because I don't really know them. And usually I just like see them from afar, and it's actually really creepy. But
hey, I mean, I'm sure it's flattering.
Maybe. Or maybe they think I'm weird.
You gotta shoot your shot.
Who cares?
You think that's weird? I don't think that's weird.
No, I feel like that's how all DM sliding is. Like, you don't know them and gotta find them somehow. So,
and like it's not like I'm coming to their house and like, hi, I'm Anna. I found your info on the internet. Now I'm here.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. They don't have to respond or so I don't think that's weird.
Okay, good. Thank you.
It's
okay, perfect. I feel better now.
Yeah. Have you ever ignored a big red flag because of the person or because the person was attracted?
I've definitely ignored a lot of red flags because I was attracted to them. Yes. I feel like usually, and again, like I alluded to this earlier, but it's always that they just got out of a relationship, which is obviously like the biggest like glaring red flag, but it's usually that one.
Okay. Because they need time to heal or get over or.
Yeah. And I mean, like, last year was a variety. Like one guy was 6 months out of like a 4-year relationship. The other person was 2 days out of a 2-year relationship. And the other person was 3 weeks out of a 4-year.
You're just picking these guys up.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know how it's happening, but like, obviously like.
A single status on social.
Like, we met in person. It's like, how do I know when I just see a guy like a volleyball game if he's emotionally like depressed because he's going through a breakup? I don't know. He's a volleyball.
It's everybody in Denver.
I know.
One point or another, I feel like.
Everyone's heartbroken, yes.
Do you have like a dating moment that, I guess that could go back to the embarrassing thing, but like that still haunts you to this day?
I really can't. I would totally talk about this if I didn't see this person very regularly. Okay. Like we kind of run in the same circles and I don't think you'd appreciate it. So I can't. Let me think of a different one. Something that haunts. I can tell you after.
And maybe you want to save it for like, because I'll ask later on, maybe a worst date or something.
Okay. Yeah. I can still think. I'll think on
that. Okay. And that's the end of the segment. That's the end of the segment. Thank you to our sponsor. Okay. I did see this and it was very interesting, but the living with a partner before marriage. That's unheard of these days.
I know. It's like the hottest take. Maybe one of my hottest takes.
Yeah. I agree with you though. I mean, I agree. I think there is a study that was done that's saying people who do live with each other before marriage, the divorce rate is higher.
Yes. And I have heard that one. The funny thing about doing content is that like every time I say something, I feel like I have to think 5 steps ahead about like how will these random people on the internet try to tear me down. Yeah. So to that, I would say, yes, I have heard about that study. I did like read the Spark Notes on it, but I think the idea is that it's possible that a lot of those folks are religious. So if you're just not likely to get divorced, you're just not going to get divorced.
Regardless. You read it. I heard it and just regurgitated like.
Oh no, I just did a little bit. I just did a little bit because you have to. Like people will say the meanest things. But yeah, that's not the reason. I would just say it's more because kind of again from my mom, Like, she always instilled in me that, and we're not religious. None of us are religious. It's not coming from like a Southern values thing. I grew up in Austin, so it's not that. It really is just like, she always said that getting married is a leap of faith. And so why not just like take it? Or like, you should feel comfortable taking a leap of faith. You shouldn't have to test run, because inherently, like, when you get married to someone, there will be a lot of unknowns. Like, you won't know what it's like to unless you're in most situations, you won't know what it's like to have a kid with them. You don't know what it's like to lose a parent when they're around. Like, it's like a lot of things that you can't foresee how they're going to react. And so you just at one point just have to go for it. And I kind of liked that, and I'm stuck with that.
Devil's advocate. What if they're a disgusting slob and only clean up when you come over, but as soon as, they let it go?
That is a great question. I mean, again, kind of the leap of faith.
Okay.
I will also say I'm kind of outing myself here, but I'm not the cleanest person. I'm not messy, but I would say that I'm not particularly clean. So if anything, I think I'd be the dirty one. But
Isaac doesn't take showers.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Never. Just baths.
Okay, good. Yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, I feel like if anything, I'd have to step
guys
up my
that
game.
take baths.
That's like such an ick. I'm sorry. Like, I hate to say, like, unless you.
We don't even have a bathtub.
We don't have a bathtub.
Maybe if someone had like a medical reason, like, if you're recovering from an injury, but no, I don't think men taking baths is cool. Like, I hate to say it. Like, it's just not.
My lat hurts. Help me out in here, Joe. Okay. That's funny. Okay. You also had like a very interesting take on therapy.
Oh yeah.
I'm just pulling these out. But,
yeah.
Because I feel like everybody's in therapy, What's it doing? What's it doing out here, I think I went to a therapy one time and the guy talked about himself the whole time. So maybe that was just me. That was just a bad therapist. But I know it can help. But sometimes, like...
Yeah, I don't want to say, I have actually a lot of friends who are therapists, and I think that it can be a really good tool, especially when you are going through something that your friends who are not trained professionals, like, are not equipped to help you with. Like, if my friend's parent dies, I can be there with her to get ice cream or to, be there for her and a shoulder to cry on, but I actually don't know how to deal with the grief that comes along with the death of a parent. And so I think that therapy would be really great for helping people through specific problems. But I do think too many people use it as a way to just talk about themselves, which I don't think is bad. Like, I love talking about myself, but I don't think you need to pay someone $100 an hour to talk about yourself and, I guess, answer questions that I feel like if you took a little bit of time to be introspective, you could answer yourself.
Okay.
I don't know what it is about. Since I moved to Denver, like, every girl has told me, you need therapy.
They're
like,
saying that to you?
Every girl
not me in particular, just everybody needs it. So, but that was definitely a new concept when I moved here.
I mean, super hot take. I think people who are telling other people that they need therapy are... never mind. They're just, I don't know a better way to say this, but they are the worst. And I think that they are the types of, I couldn't think of a nicer way to put that.
That's good.
But they are, like, first of all, I would never tell someone you need to go to therapy. I'd probably say, I don't think I have the skills to help you with this. You could benefit from seeing a professional, not you need therapy, because I think that that's thrown around so much, especially on the internet, from people who probably also, I hate to say it, kind of need therapy because they really have a wealth of issues. And I think that a lot of people assume that everyone has the same degree of problems that they have, which is not true. Like, there's a whole spectrum. And so it's like, just because you have problems, it doesn't mean that everyone else has the same level. Like, everyone has their stuff, but there's a really big difference between, getting over getting cheated on by a long-term partner and not liking your boss. Like, those are two very different things that one might need therapy or would benefit more from therapy than the other. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I like to just stuff my problems down.
Oh my gosh, that's what most men do.
And not talk about
I think it's kind of fun. Do you not like it?
What, stuffing them down?
No, like talking about your problems.
Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of liquor. Sorry, these are all the worst things I should understand. But okay, you posted a video about your partner essentially hating you in a situationship.
Yeah.
Can you give us like some examples of why, like why was he hating you?
And I don't think it's just a me thing, I will say. I think there are a lot of situations where I look around and I'm like, men and women, it's like this person doesn't like you. Like maybe they don't hate you, but it's like so obvious to me looking back at my past self, or me looking at people in my life. I'm like, they don't like you. I'm trying to think of specific examples. Like even just small things. It's like I haven't seen someone in a week and they're not making time for me.
Yeah.
Like it's not always like a huge outward thing, but it's like anyone with a brain knows that if you like someone and you have free time, you will want to spend it with them. It's not like I'm super slammed, I've been out of town for the last 5 weeks. It's like, no, you just don't want to hang out with me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of times it's that. I think that's been my experience, which makes sense on kind of a situationship level. Yeah. I think things that I've seen with my friends have been more like their partner's just not being considerate. And I feel like if you actually like someone, then you will consider their feelings. Right. And so if you're not, then maybe you don't hate them, but it's like you just don't like them.
Well, they can be fun sometimes, but
wait, what?
Situationships.
I don't mind. Like everyone hates on them, but I don't mind. Like I'd rather say that I had an ex-situationship than an ex-boyfriend. They never end well though. No, but like I can deal with it for like a month and then, you get back on the horse and keep going.
Yeah. What's your 3-month rule?
The 3-month rule. Okay. So I would say that's the one where I don't think that you should ever plan a future with someone for the first 3 months. Just because I think it's so easy to get in your head. First of all, as you said, it's easy to kind of disguise who you are. It's easy to get caught up in like hormones and like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun. Like this person's so awesome. And so I feel like it's so easy to start like future planning. Like, oh my God, maybe I'll go to the wedding in Cabo with him next year, or maybe we'll get married, or what will our kids look like? And while that's fun, I feel like it never goes well. And then it might, but most of the time I feel like it won't. And so if it doesn't, then a lot of people fall victim to mourning not only the person not being in their life, but also this future that they've created. It's like, okay, maybe you were only with them for 2 months, but in your head, you had the next 60 years with them because you had kids with them and you were going to buy a house with them. And that's just not healthy. And it's a lot faster. It's a lot easier to get over 2 months worth of memories than a whole lifetime worth of fake memories.
Okay. You said this is just pulling a lot from, but it's so interesting. You said one of your biggest flexes is that you have never used drugs or alcohol as a coping mechanism.
Correct.
Why? And then also like maybe try them. They're a lot of fun,
like maybe.
Maybe don't try them. Don't try them if you're not. It's a bad coping mechanism. But
I mean, everyone's got their coping mechanisms.
Mm-hmm. What are your coping mechanisms then if it's not those?
I think I always joke that I have a gambling addiction. I go to Vegas like a couple times a year and probably spend more than I want to, but I don't, that's kind of just like what happens in Vegas. It's not like I'm over here sports betting my entire life away.
What do you play in Vegas?
Blackjack.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's like so fun to meet people, especially if you go as a girl. There are a bunch of people and they like cheer when you get it's like fun. Mm-hmm. It's a good vibe.
Vegas is fun.
It's so fun.
It's so fun, yeah.
People are drunk and so they're in a really good mood. They're on vacation. They're not working. So it's just like an immaculate energy. But my coping mechanisms, this might be a dumb question, but what's the difference between coping mechanisms and just like things that you enjoy doing? Because
that could be your coping mechanism if you like to go out, and there's healthy coping mechanisms.
True.
And there's bad ones. Like maybe you go out for dinner, or you go out and, run on the treadmill or do activities. Like that could be a healthy coping mechanism.
Yeah, you're right. It can be productive. It doesn't have to just be following away and drinking or something, which isn't that bad, but I guess in moderation. I would say, I like to play volleyball. Okay. I'm not really going there to like get away from anything. I'm truly doing it because I enjoy it. But if you are trying to get away from something, is there, and I'm not really digging either. So I'm trying to think. No. I'm trying to think. Like I will answer this if I can think of something. I just feel like
Isaac likes to take a bath.
Oh yeah, of course. The baths.
A 2-hour bath.
That sounds so cold after the first 30 minutes.
You got to drain it and then refill it.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Sorry, I'm not a bath pro like you. I don't think I have that many times where I like need to get away. Yeah. Like, I guess my coping mechanism, if I'm feeling sad about something, is I actually just prefer to like dig into it.
Okay.
Like if I'm like, okay, I'm sad because something didn't work out, like a situationship didn't work out. Instead of like burying those feelings, I'd rather just think to myself, okay, it's okay that I'm sad. Like, is this someone that you actually would have wanted to be with? Probably not. If not, why? And I like use it more as an opportunity, like a kind of a post-mortem analysis per se. So I really like to think about like, what could I have done differently? What could they have done differently? And not in a criticism way, but like, what qualities should I be looking for in the next person? And how can I improve? So
might be like one of our healthiest guests on here.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Our dating coach that we have. Yeah, he's pretty healthy, dude. But like, yeah, all these are like,
oh yeah,
it's very good. Okay, so what I kind of want to do is like maybe dig into what you like, maybe more personality, get to know stuff, and you know, if anybody wants to reach out, I know you don't check your DMs, but maybe, I mean, if we were big enough, that would be the hope to like where people could, you know, we could set people up and that would be great. But, you know, if not, whatever, still going to ask these questions.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
So, you know, is humor big for you? What kind of humor in a partner?
Like, do I think I'm funny or do I want someone funny?
Do you want somebody like that has a sense of humor? And if so, like what kind of sense of humor?
So I hate to say it, but I feel like men in Denver are not funny. Okay. And I've been saying this for my entire time here. Nice. I grew up in Texas. I don't know if it's just like a difference in the culture. Like, I think I like Texas humor better. Yeah. Is it more offensive? Obviously. Is it funnier? Objectively, yes. Yeah. So I do like dark humor. Like, I don't mind being the funny one. Okay. And I think I've always been the funny one when I date guys. So I'm used to that. I have had some guys like not like my humor. And I'm like, this is really weird because I usually get really good reception on it. So I think you're, yeah, exactly. It's like, if you don't think I'm funny and I'm kind of doing you the service of being entertaining, then
I like a good fucked up joke. That's what I
a
like.
What?
A good fucked up joke.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I found that a lot of people here think it's like, they'll just like point at something that they think is funny and just start laughing. I'm like, that's not funny. Like we need some like wit. You need to, like, I don't want humor that's like made for dumb people. I know that sounds like really offensive, but like there's a difference between smart humor and like kind of baseline humor. So yeah.
Okay. Good answer. So how big is like complexion and physical type to you when you're looking for a guy? And then what would that be if so? So
for me, I would say, I mean, I hate to say it, and I know this is kind of a guy answer. For me, it's very like binary. It's either there or it's not. Like I don't see people as like, oh, I'm more attracted to him than him. It's like, okay, I'm attracted to him and I'm not attracted to him. And like, weirdly enough, I think this is more of a girl thing, but there are some guys that are so good looking. Like there are some guys that I play volleyball with that are objectively so attractive. And I have no interest in them whatsoever. Like I can look at them and say, this is a really good looking guy. Like I'd say that he's hot to all my friends, but no part of me wants anything to do with him. So for me, it's really just like, do I feel like they're attractive? Okay. So 10 out of, it's really important, but not necessarily because I need the hottest person in the room.
Okay. 1 or a 0, that's a guy scale.
Is that not a guy scale?
That is a guy scale.
No, I know.
1 or a 0. That's, you said it's a guy answer.
I know. It's awful, but I feel like it's easier. But yeah.
So you can't like paint a picture. Do they look the same? Like people that you've gone out with before, or is it?
I would say yes. I think none of them have quite been my ideal type. They've all been like one step removed, which is fine.
Who's the ideal type?
Ideal type.
Paint a picture for us if you can.
Like 6'1", slender. I don't really care about the hair color. I do like brown eyes. I don't like facial hair. Okay. Like I'm pretty big on that. And I know that's really hard here because everyone looks like a lumberjack. I prefer guys who kind of have the business casual, honestly, kind of like that New York finance guy. Okay, yeah. Like, I'm just going to say it, like not the flannel wearing with the graphic tee underneath and the Vans kind of look. I mean, that's cute in some ways, but not like something that I'm like, oh, he's cute. Like, just like, okay, he's like A little sun almost.
Okay. Okay. Nice. There you go. Next question. What are your love languages?
I've actually realized that the one that I like receiving and giving the most is acts of service.
Okay.
It's just the easiest for me. And I've noticed, because I think I'm really good at giving acts of service, I'm very aware when people aren't. So I think that's the most important. Gifts are not, honestly, I like all of the love languages. I like giving them and receiving them. And so like, I can't totally tell you that none are important to me, but I'd say acts of service and then words of affirmation. Quality time is actually pretty low for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about yours? You got some?
Mine is physical touch and acts of service.
Okay.
Yeah. Quality time is also low for me, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But it's never got to me. No.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wouldn't want to go like a month without seeing someone, but like, it's not.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
just like I've been on some great dates and it's, that romantic hanging out. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, this is your guys'. So what's one thing you're really passionate about?
That's a good question. Honestly, this is a lame answer. I don't really feel like I'm super passionate about anything, which is kind of lame to say. And I get this question a lot on dates, or I used to, especially when I was on dating apps. It was always, what are you passionate about? And I feel like at this point in my life, I'm 27, and I really just feel like I'm just enjoying life. I guess I'm passionate about having fun and like minimizing the amount of stress in my life, but I don't think that's a passion. That's more just a lifestyle.
Okay.
I don't like have like a particular philanthropic cause that drives me really. I'm not trying to save the world out here. So I don't think I'm passionate about anything. Maybe that's my red flag.
Yeah. No. What I would say, yeah. How would your best friends describe you? A different question.
One of my friends actually said that I was electric today.
Oh.
And I think that's probably a good way to put it. I'm a little bit out there. Like, I feel like a lot of people, the best way to put it is I can say and do things that most people can't because I'm this kind of like big personality. The downside is that sometimes people don't take me seriously, but like I am like, I can be loud. I can be a little bit offensive. I can be fun. I'm kind of a say yes person. So like, if you call me at midnight and want to go to Sonic, I'll go to Sonic with you. I don't really know if that's a good answer, but I feel like I just am a lot of things.
Good.
A lot of personality traits in one person.
Yeah. Okay. Weird habit or quirk that makes you you.
Ooh, weird habit or quirk. I don't know if I have any like super weird habits or like.
You don't like to take baths?
No, I don't. I've been told many times that like my whole personality is weird. So like, I don't think anything is particularly weird, like specifically.
Okay.
I feel like it'd be more apt to ask me what is like the most normal thing about me.
Okay.
So,
what is the most normal?
I don't know, that I have a job.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of boring, but.
I guess, what does, you already said it looks easy, and partners should support each other and fun. But what does marriage ultimately look like to you?
So to me, marriage, I was actually talking to my friend about this. I was like, what do you think the difference is between like having a boyfriend and having a husband? And I don't think she had a good answer, and she just hadn't thought about it, which is fair. But I have a pretty distinctive answer. To me, it's more about the level of commitment. Like, I don't know if you have this on your sheet, but I'm very big on this. Like, I would never go to couples counseling with someone that I'm just dating.
Okay.
Like, that's something that I'm going to reserve for marriage, just because I don't think I should have to put in that much effort for something that's not like official, like that serious yet. Okay. And so I feel like there's just more and not that I've never divorced someone, but it's more like I'd go to couples counseling. I wouldn't be open to other options. Like, I kind of feel like for better or for worse, even when you're dating someone and like serious, as I kind of alluded to earlier, like if you get a new coworker that's attractive and you just over 6 months, like realize you really like them, leave your partner for them. Okay. Like, I know, but like, I would never leave my husband for that. Okay, like, it's like, at that point you have to decide there is nothing better out there for me. Like, at this point, like, obviously if something changes or they change, then you can reevaluate. But like, based on what I know about them right now, there is no one better out there. And I don't want to entertain any other options.
Okay. Do you feel that's like the grass is always greener mentality, or you have to find somebody that doesn't make you think that?
I mean, I think I'll find someone who just doesn't make me think that, because, and it's not that it's not like I'm actively like, oh my gosh, there's someone better out there. Yeah. It's just like, once you sign the papers, I feel like you're like, no, like there's no one better out there.
So somebody better marry you fast then.
Well, that's why I want to get married within like, I'd say a year to a year and a half.
Yeah. Because long engagements aren't your thing.
No, I'd say married within a year to a year and a half, engaged for like 6 months. So.
Okay. And then, anything that bothers you about men in Denver, like respectfully or disrespectfully?
You said it earlier, but like, I just feel like men here are such, what's a nice word? Weenies. Okay. Like, I was trying to think of a nice way to put that, but I feel like they have like no backbone. A lot of them, my friends and I joke, are in their feminine era. Like, they don't really know how to like take charge in situations where I think that they should. And now I'm not asking for someone to like do everything for me, but like planning dates, initiating hangouts, things like that. Coming up to women at bars or like reaching out to them. I feel like that's just kind of a lost art. I don't know if that's everywhere, but here in Denver it definitely is. So I just feel like I wish that they would be a little bit more take charge, because I kind of think that if you're not take charge at the beginning, I don't know. I would assume that would kind of like stay for the entire relationship.
Okay. That's a good answer. We hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody says that.
Yeah.
We need to start holding seminars, maybe. Not us, but I know. Start holding manly seminars, but
apparently.
Like, what's the worst date you've ever been on?
Okay, so I don't even excuse me, wow, I'm dying now. There was this guy a couple years ago. We met on Hinge. This was in 2021. Okay. Back in the Hinge days. We had a call because he wanted to call, which is fine. Like, I understand. I think it's a little odd for men to want to do that, but like, fine. We had a call. He was nice enough. We met up at the Denver Beer Co. in Lodo. 5 minutes into the date, he told me that he had a vasectomy. I think we were talking about what we did for work. And he just goes, I have a vasectomy. And I was like, oh, are we just sharing things
about like buddy Jordan?
It was a crazy moment, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then he was like, "Do you want to see a photo of the hottest girl that I've ever hooked up with?"
No, this is our buddy Jordan. Just kidding. Sorry, Jordan.
And I was like, at this point, I'm like, why not? Like, why not? And he just shared some really like weird things, like about his sex life, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I know you obviously don't like me, but this is actually just rude.
That's
like,
full guy brain taking over.
Yeah. And like, it was crazy. And then halfway through the date, I'd say, he goes, I'm just like really not feeling this. And in my head, I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
I also didn't like him. So it wasn't like a loss, but it was really weird. And then he left early to go help his friend get something from IKEA. And that was probably the weirdest one.
Yeah.
That's odd.
I don't know why I don't know why it came up. None of that. I didn't ask about any of that, by the way. I want to make it very clear that was not the topic.
What do you think about guys that have vasectomies?
I mean, I guess like, since I don't really want kids, that'd be perfect. Okay. I will say, I think, in like a more serious way, I don't think a guy who has a vasectomy necessarily makes sense for me, just because I guess it does. I mean, if you're really sure that you don't want kids, then why not? Because you'll find a partner who doesn't want kids. But I do think some men do it at like an early stage in their life when like kids just like, they're like, I would never want kids. But like, just like me, how I'm open to the possibility of having my mind changed. I don't think it will, but I don't know what I'm going to be thinking in my 30s. And so I think like long term, having a guy who can have the foresight to understand that my 24-year-old brain is not going to be my 32-year-old brain would probably be ideal.
Okay.
So no problem with vasectomy. It's just more the mindset behind getting one in your early 20s.
Yeah. Okay. What have you ever been on like a really good date though? Or they just did all the right things?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I feel like I've been on a couple of good dates. Just very normal. Like we had good conversation. Chemistry was good. Nothing super crazy. I don't think I've been on anything that like was like, wow, I'll never have a date that good again. So nothing super exciting.
Huh. Well, it's usually how good dates go, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess like, does anyone have like an amazing first date story? Probably not. Like,
no, I don't think I was doing a good date. So, so how do you let a guy down though? Like if it's not working out, you said you don't like ghosting them. You give them a text.
I always just text them because I actually prefer being texted.
Okay.
I might want to call them later, but I don't want to have someone just pick up the phone and call me to tell me. Like I want to be able to process my own emotions without them being there physically or on the phone. So I usually just say like, hey, blank, it's been so great getting to know you. At this point, I just don't think this is the connection that I'm looking for, something like that. I wish you the best. I hope we can, remain friendly at XYZ wherever we met. Like it's very civil, very normal.
Nice. This question was for a different guest, but so I'm not going to ask that. But
wait, what was it? If you don't mind me asking.
If your partner occasionally wet the bed, would that bother you?
What guess was that for?
Who was that for?
I don't know. A half of it was like for
that's. I'm so curious as to how that like came up. Like why you'd type that? Like how that just.
There was like a couple on here that. Would that bother you?
Would it bother me if how often? Is it like a yearly thing? Like, is it annual puddle? Or is it like...
like a weekly?
Is it like...
Yeah, I mean, like, what is too much?
Like, I mean, is it like we both wake up in like a puddle of pee? Or like it's like on his side contained?
Once a quarter.
I mean, the quarterly pee. Yeah, I guess. That'd be fine.
That's fine.
I mean,
once a month?
I mean, like... I would say that they'd have to be pretty great. Otherwise, it's not like I'm going to go out with some like weird guy who also wets the bed.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have to have a lot of other things going for
you. So you wouldn't know that unless you moved in with him beforehand.
You're right. Unless I happen to catch him on a sleepover. Like,
yeah.
But he'd probably, I guess you can't, it's not like a period. You can't really schedule when you're going to wet the bed.
This is my piss night. I better sleep at home tonight.
It's like, hey,
I'm due for a good piss.
It's like, I'm going to go with another woman tonight. You can't come over. Like.
Anna, thank you so much for coming. We always hit somebody.
Wait. Let me ask one more. Let me ask one more. I maybe should have asked when we were talking about coping mechanisms, but how do you deal with loneliness?
Oh, that's a good question. So I really only... Are we talking about loneliness regarding like not having a partner or just loneliness like just I'm alone in my apartment and like even like people who are partnered have times where they're alone like
I would just say in the single sense. How do you
interestingly enough, I feel like I only get lonely for like 30 minutes a day and it's always at night. I think a lot of people have that issue where you're like I'm watching TV and I could be watching TV with someone but I'm here by myself. And it's not really like a deal with it. I kind of just say to myself, okay, well, I'm here by myself and there's some girl who's screaming at her boyfriend because she's mad at him.
Because he pissed the bed.
Because he pissed the bed.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, not always. Like, it's like sometimes I do have to remind myself that the grass is always greener. And so it's like, like there are moments when I definitely am like, this would be so much better with a partner or I wish I had someone here. But then I have to remember that if that's only 30 minutes of 16 hours of being awake in a day, that's a pretty good ratio and I'm comfortable with that. If it was the whole 16 hours, then we'd probably be trying to hit the law of large numbers, as you said. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm just like, you got to take the good with the bad. So I guess it's more of a mindset thing. It's not really like a physically go out and deal with the loneliness.
Okay. Gotcha.
There you go. Good question.
Oh, thank you.
Last question.
Yeah.
Why are you a catch?
Oh my gosh. I've actually never really thought through exactly.
Putting you in the hot seat here. We say this to everybody, and nobody ever watches these all the way through, so nobody knows.
Let me think.
At this point, there's 5 people watching, maybe.
Why am I a catch? I would say that I am a catch because I really focus on making other people happy with the caveat that I don't do it in a way that like affects my own mental health. I think I've spent a lot of time like learning how to be good at relationships, not just dating, but like friendships, coworker relationships. So I feel like it's not so much about like the way that I look or the amount of money that I make or any of the more surface level things. It's really about the amount of time and effort that I'm putting into learning like how to be a catch of sorts. Yeah. Like, you know, even when it comes to learning how to like emotionally regulate, like if someone does something that I don't like, I'm not necessarily going to go off the wall on them. I'm just going to deal with it myself and like come back to it when I'm have a better mindset. Like doing things like that over my life, I feel like would make me at least a more peaceful partner, maybe not a better, but a more peaceful partner for the right person.
That's a great answer. It's better than 98% of the people.
Thanks.
All of them but Joey, right?
Yeah, all but Joey. I feel like, if you're a person that can be alone with yourself and you like being alone with yourself, you know, genuinely, you're probably going to enhance somebody else too. And so like, that seems to be a very good answer.
They say if you can't be happy alone, you won't be happy with someone. So,
which I think is very true.
Yeah,
I think you can be happy with some, like you can enjoy yourself with other people, but like you can't truly be happy.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
Nice. Do you want to, and like I said, I don't know if anybody's watching now, but do you want to plug anything?
No, it's fine.
Give us your TikTok. Give us your TikTok.
Oh, so my TikTok is @Marcks and my Instagram is @ALMarks1.
Okay.
A lot of people think that my name is Alma because it's AL Marks, which is kind of funny, but yeah.
Yeah, check her out. She has some great single content, and we'll tag you in the description. And yeah,
thank you.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes,
I appreciate
thank you.
it.
Thank you.
Until next time.